Hi, it's Alex. Thanks for joining me for another episode of Small Talk No More. This week's chat went on for a bit longer than expected, but as Felipe gave incredible insights, I split this episode into two parts. Let's get started with part one. Hi, welcome to another episode of Small Talk No More. I'm today joined by Felipe Arevalo, who's label manager at SOMOS. Hello, Felipe.
Hi, Alex, how's it going?
I'm very good. How are you?
All good. Enjoying the imposed indooring.
Yeah. Just to start with, could you tell us who Felipe is and what makes you so special?
Sure. Special. I doubt that. Well, I'm originally from Colombia, and I landed in London almost 7 years ago. I did an undergrad in music in Colombia, and then I left everything behind and came to do a master's as well in music production here in London. And well, at the moment, I say, fortunately, we're in one of those careers where your degree doesn't define you, but what you do within the industry is really what defines you. And I ended up being a music producer, which fortunately is what I always wanted to be. And currently I helped, I manage a few labels that I helped creating within WestOne Music Group in London. One of them is SOMOS, which is a Latin American label that focuses on music content for media, like library music and along the lines of basically music that you sing for media. And with the reputation that we've been having lately, we've had bigger and bigger names coming on board, and now we're pushing for our artist focus label, which is Somos Más. And because of it's something particularly new that we're trying to push for. Still, it's still yet to be proven as a successful attempt. And with the skills that kind of like are involved in producing Latin American music that comes from super traditional tribal music up on like to the new more contemporary genres, there is some skills that can be transferred onto another culturally rich albums. So I'm now also helping with the running of the Asia Record Collective as well from WestOne Music Group.
Wow.
And
How do you have time in the day? That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't. I'm no longer me. I just focus on making someone else's albums. But
Yeah.
fortunately, it is what I love doing. So can't complain
No, it's
at all.
very, very lucky position, actually. So something I wanted to mention as well, for those that don't know, Felipe was one of the key people to kind of guide me earlier in my career. I just finished a internship in a record label, and I was so lost. I did not have a clue about what I was doing. And Felipe was very nice and very kind to always have some advice, always have some time to kind of guide through and, say, spend time, go have some juice in central London and just help someone trying to understand what the hell the music business is and where you're going. Now, there's a game that I play with everyone that is interviewed in this podcast. Okay, we're going to play really quick game of questions. It's normally 30 seconds, but there's a couple of questions that might need a bit of elaboration. So I'm going to put the timer to 45 seconds. These will be quite quick and snappy answers. Okay?
Is this 45 per question or for all of the questions?
For all of the questions.
Okay, let's do this.
I'm sure we can do it. Right, so this will start now. So what's your favorite song or album?
Favorite album. Calle 13, que entran los que quieran entrar.
Qué bueno.
Loads of Latin Grammys, and it's such an amazing album.
Okay. Someone famous you have a crush on?
I don't think I focus on that. I do find loads of like attractive celebrities, but I try to keep it realistic. So per se, like a celebrity crush, no.
Ah, okay. Are you a cat or a dog person?
Uh, I- I've had far too many dogs in my life, and I haven't had any cats. So I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt and say that I think a good cat would also be good company. So either
Okay. And morning or evenings?
morning, totally.
If you could be a supernatural creature, which one would you be and why?
Uh, no idea. No, pass. I'm terrible with supernatural creatures and mythology and stuff.
Okay, so what's your least favorite Muppet?
Uh, no idea. uh, I don't know. I think they're all lovely. Why would you hate one of them or have a least
I
favorite?
don't
That's
know.
really cruel.
Just to add some controversy.
Uh, uh no, don't like controversy. I'm
Okay.
gonna give them a thumbs up to all of them.
Okay, so let's move. I'm going to ask you, what's your dream job?
Fortunately, is the one I currently have. Maybe I'd like to work more with artists, but then, yeah, I don't think I'd get to use all of my skills so often. So yeah, it comes with the territory. Fortunately, dream job, the one I currently have, I'd say.
That's amazing. And finally, what's the best piece of advice someone has ever given to you?
Uh, mm, my sisters once said to me, "Stop worrying so much about everything. If it doesn't have a solution, it is not a problem." And I've applied that to so many other things. It's kind of like a really vague stoic way of looking at things, and from that, then kind of like a more social. I've become a really collective interactions guy. I'd say what's bad for the bee is bad for the hive. That's another one that I really really like. So those are kind of like two things that resonate in my mind all the time as pieces of advice.
Cool. Wise sister you have. Thumbs up to sisters. I've got my sister. She's the best person in the world. Cool. So that's the end for our quick game. I think it was super interesting to get to know Felipe a little bit more. We went over 45 seconds, unfortunately, but that's absolutely fine. It's part of the game. Now, let's move on to what's the important bit of this chat. I want to know, unfortunately, we are going through a terrible situation for a lot of people, which is the coronavirus. And so I want to understand from your perspective, how has that affected SOMOS or WestOne, you personally, and you as a professional? So my first question is, what has been, from your perspective, the impact of lockdown and COVID on the recorded music industry?
I think even within music there are so many fields, and within the recorded part of music industry there are also so many other fields. There's people that I don't understand how many business models within the music industry, as well as there are a lot of people that don't understand or don't have a clue of how the field that I work with actually makes a profit. It's a mutual mystery. But I think from the many fields, from merchandise to streaming, there has been downsides and upsides. But I think the shift has gone from initially how everyone thought that now live music has to be the point of focus because recording music is no longer the point of profit, and all of a sudden that's no longer like there's a paradigm again where we have to rethink exactly how is it that we're going to keep entertainment and arts fueled, when what we thought they were making a profit of is no longer available until, I don't know, after the summer of 2021, which is crucial for live music itself and for releases. um, I think music, apart from the live side of music, I think there is a cushion that we are yet not able to understand exactly what impact is going to have. So it's really important to understand what we don't know. uh, because we still don't know the consumption. More media is being consumed, arguably, with everyone just
Hmm.
being indoors. There's the main focus right now is on the consumption of media as a whole. So we should be looking at more income, but at the same time, our income is not direct from the amount of plays that you get, but on percentiles of the bigger companies that pay for a royalty. So
Hmm.
still very very tricky to understand money wise how this is going to have an impact, but yeah,
Yeah.
it is definitely changing the way in which we do everything.
And do you think there's been any positive sides to what's going on? Obviously, there's been a lot of downsides. So live being cancelled, and the fact that I'm guessing that um, royalty payments take a bit of time. So for those that are missing out on all the money from live performances, they're going to have to wait a few months to kind of see exactly what's going to happen with their royalties and what sort of cut they're going to get. So do you think there's been any positives though for recording music?
For this is going to be fundamental for the development of cross cultural collaborations, because
Mm,
what this is doing is making everyone aware that there is a lot of power in having a self sufficient uh, having self sufficient means of recording yourself and being a
mm,
recording. It's funny because recording artist is one thing, but you have to be an artist that must know how to record themselves. And
mm-hmm,
as an instrumentalist, you would also have to do and know all of these things. But also from the side of uh, teaching and lessons, the amount of reclusive or isolated time that every
mm-hmm,
creative is spending at the moment is like, okay, I'm not touring anymore. Like the most of the people that I'm working with at the moment are on full creative mode, because there is just no other way. Now obviously there are worries about what's going to happen, but overall I think, again, the positives will come. Positives, I don't think there are that many positives. If I'm being pragmatic about it, I think everyone is losing out on very particular means of income,
mm,
like being paid for live performance in a venue, being able to get sponsorships for public performances,
mm,
uh, like the amount of royalties that are being missed out, the amount of productions overall in media that are also not going to happen. So sync, everything is going to suffer. So overall, from an economic end, there, I don't think that there is any current positives, but what the outcome is going to be is going to be full of positives, because there are so many developments right now that are focusing on the on the support of
mm-hmm,
working remotely and making sure that you don't have to be a touring musician to be able to make profit. So there will be positives. They are in the hands of people like yourself, who are
mm-hmm.
kind of like spearheading innovation, and kind of like always finding a way through, that I'm sure are going to bring a few really good ideas for all of the other musicians around.
Well, hopefully. I want to touch on something that you mentioned. So you said that the musicians that you work with, they're in full creative mode. So do you think that this is an important time for people to make music? And do you think that people will produce better quality music, perhaps, or they will produce more music in less amount of time because they cannot really go anywhere, and then they don't need to commute to a studio, they don't really need to spend much time going to see friends because they can do it from the living rooms or from their bedrooms. So do you think that the creative side will develop to a high level because people are musicians, creatives, are in full creative mode?
Well, there's that thing about the creativity is the reflection of the experiences that you live, and how you, and is a result of your own life experiences. And if you're not experiencing life but indoors, then yeah, it's a tricky one. I'm not really sure if it's gonna have a massively positive impact in the quality of the productions themselves, because obviously unless everyone was getting a grant to set themselves with £20,000, €20,000, $20,000 to get equipment and proper acoustic treatment and isolation for the, it's somewhat unlikely that you like, you might get as we were talking a little bit before the show, but you might get, obviously there will always be the exceptionals that are gonna, like the outliers, that you can give the cheapest of microphones and are gonna come with these amazing things, but that also kind of like relies on the luck that, oh, the instrument that you play or the tone of your voice is really suits this microphone, and then you don't need another microphone. You can have a $10,000 microphone that doesn't really suit your voice, and you were so lucky that I don't know, the SM57 was what did the trick, and now you're doing award-winning albums. So the quality, I think there will always be the outliers that are going to make really, really, really good quality recordings just because. But overall, and if we look at it statistically, I think the lack of being able to rehearse, for example, of being able to properly perform as an ensemble or to meet in studios. There's some magic to a studio as well that allows people to kind of like give themselves to a microphone and a mixing desk in an acoustically magic space, and all of that has a value, you know. So yeah, I think the change is gonna mainly happen internally in terms of the experimentation towards new sounds. So we might, or what, something that I'm already seeing a lot, which is there's a lot of artists that are reducing their formats to whatever they can get at home, or some people are DJing or things like that. So I think it's making everyone is giving everyone the opportunity to improve themselves, to like we're in harvesting, not in harvesting mode, but in like kind of like I don't know how you call that,
like coming out of the comfort zone, like they're using this time to kind of move and improve something that maybe they were not good at.
It's kind of waiting, holding on to that moment where, oh, okay, you know what, now I've as a if you look at it technically, now I know all of this more theory about engineering, or I know all of this I know more scales, or I play better piano, or I learn how to plug in this modular synthesizer to my vocals, and now I can do this, or I don't know. There's people are gonna come out guns blazing with all of the new things that they've had to develop on their own, and I think that's always a good thing. So that would be a positive to look for in the future.
Thanks for listening. Join me next week for part 2 of our chat.